Hi everybody, my name is Attila Toth. I'm a developer advocate for ScyllaDB, and in this quick video I will show you how to use Terraform to interact with ScyllaDB Cloud using the ScyllaDB Cloud Terraform provider. Now, before we get started, there are two requirements for this project. You will need to have Terraform installed on your machine. I will put a link in the description of this video that leads you to the Terraform documentation where they show you how to install Terraform on your machine. The other important requirement is that you need to have a Scylla API token. This is needed for Terraform so it can interact with ScyllaDB Cloud. I will also put a link in the description where you can obtain an API token. So once we have these two things sorted, you can basically go ahead and create a new Terraform configuration file, something similar to this example. You can call it create cluster or something similar because we are going to use it to create a new ScyllaDB Cloud cluster. And then within the Terraform configuration file, we will use obviously the ScyllaDB Cloud provider. We use the most recent version, which is 1.3.2. If you want to use the most recent version, you can go to the Terraform registry and find the ScyllaDB Cloud provider page. And then you can go to use provider, and that will show you the code snippet with the most recent version of the provider. And then you can just copy paste this into your Terraform file. So once you have that, the other important element here is the API token. So once you have that token, it's suggested to, you can also just put it here as a row string, but it's suggested to use a variables file. This is just a regular Terraform configuration file to store all of your variables. In this example, we only have one variable, which is the Scylla API token, and this is where you need to put your API token that you get from ScyllaDB Cloud. So once you have this variable, you can reference this in your main Terraform configuration file using var.ScyllaAPI token. So this will make sure that you can actually access the ScyllaDB Cloud resources. All right, and now let's actually see how you can create a new cluster from scratch. Let's explain this resource part of the configuration file. So in this example, we are going to create a ScyllaDB Cloud cluster. Within the Terraform configuration, we're going to call it my ScyllaDB Cloud. And then we define all these attributes within this configuration object. So the name of the name of our cluster will be my ScyllaDB Cloud. The underlying infrastructure that we will use for this is going to be AWS. You could also use Google Cloud Platform if you want. We will define a region. In this example, we are using US East 1. We define a node count. So this basically means the amount of nodes that the cluster will contain. We define the node type. We are using T3 micro, which is the smallest and the most inexpensive machine in a ScyllaDB Cloud. It's a great instance to just get started with ScyllaDB Cloud. And then we have two other attributes here. So the one is enables VPC peering. This is great if you already have, for example, an AWS, an already existing AWS infrastructure that you use, and then you can easily connect a ScyllaDB Cloud cluster into that network using VPC peering. And then we also enable DNS for this cluster. So this is the main object that will actually take care of creating the cluster. And then we have two other elements here. These are just outputs. These will output the ID of the cluster that has been just created, and then it will also output the data center of the cluster that has been created. So once you created this Terraform configuration file, you can go ahead and first of all initialize the Terraform project with Terraform in it. And then once you have done that, let me pull this up a little bit. So once you have done that, you can also run Terraform plan. So you will actually see what Terraform intends to create. And as you can see, it will create a ScyllaDB Cloud cluster with the attributes that we defined. And then if you're fine with it, you can go ahead and run Terraform apply. And then Terraform will ask you if you really want to perform these actions. If you do, then you just type in yes. And then the process will get started. And this will take a few minutes for the cluster to actually be created. I'm gonna cut here in the video and then come back when this process is done. All right, so a little bit more than 11 minutes has passed, and as you can see, the cluster has been created by Terraform, and as output, we got the name of the data center and the ID of the cluster. Now, if you want to confirm that the cluster has been indeed created, you can open your ScyllaDB Cloud UI and see the cluster under the My Clusters page. So in our example, this is the cluster that we have just created, My ScyllaDB Cloud, and then you can open the cluster, and then as you can see, it has all the attributes that we added in Terraform, things like VPC peering. Even though we haven't set the VPC, we haven't set it up yet, but it's enabled. And we also enabled the DNS. It has 3 nodes within the cluster, and it's using US East 1, AWS US East 1 as the region. So this has worked as expected. Now, with that said, that's all I wanted to show you in this quick video. I show you some more resources for you if you want to learn more about the provider and ScyllaDB. I would highlight our ScyllaDB University, which is a really great place to learn not just about ScyllaDB, but NoSQL databases in general as well. And if you have specific questions about ScyllaDB or the Terraform provider, you can ask your questions in our community, forum.scylladb.com. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.